Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game on Hammers Chat. It's just finished. West Ham 1, Bournemouth 2. A bitter pill to swallow here. We're on the Hammers Chat boat. The sun is flickering in and out, a bit like West Ham's form. The first half finished 1-0. Well, it was 1-0 at half time due to a penalty. I thought it was a penalty. Did you think it was a penalty?
Our one that we scored, yeah, absolutely. He was hacked down, wasn't he? And we were all crying for it. But if you look, the referee wasn't sure. I think the linesman actually gave the decision, Mike, and it was the right decision after much consultation. Tone said in the vlog, he said it wouldn't have happened if it was VAR. Just would have been decision made. It was definitely a penalty.
Good cry for VAR, wasn't it, really? Because I thought it was a stone cold penalty.
It was, mate. Yeah, and it took them longer to deliberate than it was taking VAR. You know, so the referee went over. He did. I mean, the referee went over. They had a little chin wag in the corner, and we all feared the worst. I thought he was going to point to the what do you call it when he points for a goal kick or something like that, you know, or a free kick to them. But no, it's Stonewall. It was Stonewall. As I said, it's about the same as. It looked quite similar. I mean, it was similar to their one, actually. I mean, well, no, because Noble barged him, didn't he, in the second half? This was more of a chop, wasn't it, I think?
It was a Stonewall, it went right through him.
Yeah, it's blatant penalty. Arnie tucks it away really nicely, and we were all pretty chipper at that time, weren't we? So.
Yeah, but at half time it was 1-0. I don't know about you, mate, but I've just thought, I thought we were lucky to be in the lead. What do you reckon?
Well, I thought it was even. I don't think we should have been losing, but yeah, we were lucky to be in the lead. And certainly, if we hadn't got a penalty, we wouldn't have scored any other way. I mean, I don't know where this. We're waiting, and obviously we'll get a bit of stick because we've got to give it some time and blah blah blah, and give it 8 games for Pellegrini's attacking football to kick into play. But I was waiting for this attacking football to happen, and I don't see any evidence of it yet. Listen, I've walked out. You can clearly. Well, I don't think you clearly see. You can clearly see people walking over the bridge behind us. We've just come straight out of the ground. Hey, we're going to have to shuffle over, Mike. We might have to have a cuddle. It's quite clear that I'm speaking and I'm reacting to what's happened, and I don't feel that was an attacking display from us. People said it'd be a lot better because Liverpool were a special team and blah 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 blah. Yes, do you know what? We didn't lose 4-0, but did that feel a lot better? No.
I must admit, for me, I was bitterly disappointed really with our performance today. I'm going to go into the individuals in a second, right?
Good,
but
good.
I thought it was bit. Just to round off the game, it finished 2-1 to Bournemouth. The first goal they scored was almost like something out of FIFA. You know, if you're playing FIFA, you had young Callum Wilson. Oh, I don't know if he's that young these days, but he appeared to go past 3 people, including that spectacular leap over who's the right back we played today?
Well, Zabaleta,
he tried to side him down. Lucky he made contact, he would have been off, and he was through, and it was 1-1. At that point, I thought it was totally deserved. Did you think they were deserved?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. They come out at the start of the second half. We didn't heed the warning. They had plenty of possession around our box. We weren't keeping the ball. We had little outlet. And it was coming. I mean, he did that run, didn't he? You know, you were sort of watching it, thinking someone's got to just bring this guy down. You know, don't just.
Take a yellow time.
Take a yellow. He did. He was like, you know, Willem Dafoe in Platoon. You know, when he's running and and you're thinking someone's just going to just twat the bastard. You know, twat him, bring him down. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, it was weird because it wasn't like there was no one there.
No.
And then
shuffle.
Yeah,
shuffle. No, that means you've got a shuffle, Tone. You shuffle. No, that way. Really you can see the screen. Mike shuffle. There we go. Look, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
It's not like we're director Gonzo here, director Gonzo, and it's not like. And the weird thing about that is it wasn't like it was a surprise. They were way better than us in second half. I thought. What did you think of second half?
Crazy, absolutely crazy. Maybe there was a bit of complacency from the team. There was certainly complacency from us. We went down and enjoyed our half-time beer.
Shuffle.
I've shuffled. I've done a lot of shuffling, right? And you know what? We might move into a tango in a minute. But I'll tell you what.
Five knuckle.
No, there'll be no 5-knuckle shuffle. So, there was complacency from the team, I think. And I think we thought we're 1-0 up. We're going to go out and we're going to attack. And it's going to be 2-0 or we're going to win comfortably. But I felt when they went out for the second half, it was almost as if we were playing for 1-0. Now, I thought this was a new dawn. I thought this was a new era. Why are we playing for a 1-0? Tone doesn't agree. He's scrunching his face.
No, because that suggests that it was done intentionally. I think that it was... I kept moaning about it during the game. There were lots of incidents where people were trying to pick a pass, and there was quite a few times where a ball was played into a channel that no one ran into, and there were other times where there was a channel. Someone ran into a channel, but no one picked the pass, and it's that kind of the understanding that's not there at the moment. It's and that's going to take time. So I'm going to be a little bit more, not positive, but a bit less kind of concerned than Gonzo. I think that today it's disappointing. Of course it is. It's never nice to lose. I mean, it's worse than last season, because last season we were almost half expecting it. This season we've come in with massive anticipation, spent loads of money, got these flashy names players, and we've just resembled the scene from last season, which is disappointing. So from that aspect, I'm disappointed because of today, because it's always crap when you lose. It kind of puts a bit of a cloud over your day. In the grand scheme of things, I'm not overly concerned, but that said, they are going to have to start giving us signs that they are adapting to a system sooner
you can adapt system all you want, mate, but conceding directly from a corner with a defender like headers it in is a bit shameful. You can't get past that. That isn't anything about systems or new players or whatever. Someone just hadn't picked it. I didn't see who scored it, by the way, but someone did, and he looked like a burly bloke with a number 3 on his back, so I'm assuming he's defender.
A bit like myself, Mike.
Yeah, big, burly and handsome. That's what I like to say.
I don't like to say.
Big and burly.
No, okay, well, that's Tone's cool. Right, so it finished 2-1. I don't think we ever looked like scoring the second half. Would you agree?
Totally, and I'd say a marginal improvement, maybe when Yarmolenko came on, but there was a very significant substitution, which is he took off Noble and he took off Chicharito. I don't think it's hard to say anyone was good. Well, Chicharito at least offered something during the game. I'm a bit concerned about this Noble and Wilshere axis. Actually, you want to talk about individuals? Let's talk about individuals now, because I tell you what, I think individuals is where the conversation is at.
Okay, we're going to talk individuals then. So, Tone, let's talk about who played well with you. Who do you think had a good game for West Ham today?
Yarmolenko, when he came on, played well.
I'd agree.
Made a difference. We actually looked like we carried some sort of a threat. It was really well marked, though. I mean, seems to constantly have people on him.
Yeah, they doubled up on him, didn't they?
Yeah. But they doubled up on him because they for a damn good reason, because he was carrying the threat. Fabianski again looked solid in goal. The second goal, or was it the first goal? One of the lads over there, when we was buying the beer, said there might have been a deflection. We can't really see very well from our angle, but I don't know so much about the goals. I don't know if he was at fault for the goals. I need to watch them again. But yeah, Fabianski, Yarmolenko. I know people who are not. I had a quick chat with some of the boys over here. Some of them wasn't happy that Snodgrass started, but I thought he did quite well, actually.
I thought he did all right, yeah.
But that does beg the question, though. The guy's come back from Aston Villa. He was loaned out because he wasn't deemed good enough. He's come back and he's walked straight into the first team. So is that because he's had a stellar pre-season, or is that because we just don't have anybody else very good in that position?
Pellegrini likes him, I think, largely, and we haven't got anyone else. Anyone who, and I know what you're going to say here, mate.
Let's do it.
Let's get it off your chest.
Who do you think underperformed today, mate?
Well, you know, and you've loaded this up, and you've loaded the gun. I'm going to fire it. I'm very, very concerned about Felipe Anderson. Very concerned.
Why is that?
Thank you. He hugs the touchline. He's too far wide. Doesn't come inside enough. He's too deep. Is that a duck or something? A moorhen. It's a moorhen. Very nice. Tune in.
Probably better at football than Anderson.
Absolutely. Tune in next week for more Birds of the Canal. Listen. He's got a trick, and the trick is to knock it past the player, create a one-on-one race, and he basically runs round him. And he loses every single time. And his passing was poor. I need to see more. People are going to jump on the comments. Fill your boots. People are going to jump on the comments and they're going to say, oh, look, you need to give him time. Well, I'll tell you what, how much time we're going to give him, because a lot of people have been saying, it's going to take 8 games before we get into our flow. We ain't going to have 8 games. There are decent teams in the Premier League. Bournemouth are one of them. And I'm not talking about the big guys. I'm not talking about Liverpool. I'm not talking about Manchester United and blah, 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 blah. It seems like Bournemouth are already on 6 points. We can't keep saying, we'll be all right. Because I'll tell you what, today that smacked to me, and I felt like when we walked out of there, and I still feel like now, like last season. Where was the attacking? I understand Pellegrini's got to bed his system in, all right, and these players have got to learn to play. But where is it? You would think if a system was taking a while to bed in, there would be some degree towards it. So maybe if the end goal was to be attacking all the time, we'd be attacking quite a bit or a little bit. There's none there. It doesn't look any different. The defence looks like rabbits caught in the headlights. Is that right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. The attack, there's lacking any sort of form of cohesion or anything like that. And our big signing, and I'm people say I'm picking on him or whatever. I'm picking on him because he's our record signing. We paid almost double of what we paid for Arnautovic, and Arnautovic still looks our best player by a country mile.
He started slowly for West Ham as well. He was a bit of a joke, a bit of a disaster at the beginning of Arnautovic, wasn't he?
And do you know what? You're absolutely right, Tone. You can be here as a voice of reason and have your say by all means. But I do expect our record signing to be the best player at the club, or amongst that, in that conversation, so to speak.
So I mean, you're looking at Anderson, and you've said I was bitterly disappointed with him today as well. I mean, you're after a glimmer, aren't you? Anything, just like him to do one thing right, and he was on for the whole 90, and just to show some promise. I think we would have taken losing 2-1 today if we'd been full of attacking intent and had been caught out on the break a couple of times. That's stuff you can solve.
When you talk about intent, though, let's remember he did start with Arnautovic and Chicharito. Right, so intent is one thing. Actually, making it happen is something else. And I'm not sure the problem was with intent from Pellegrini. It was just the system itself wasn't working. Simply,
Yeah, but there's a difference between picking players and putting them there, and another thing with them actually getting the ball where they can do damage.
Yeah. So exactly. But what was happening was that, and we kept saying it, that they were like statues for a lot of the game, and there was no understanding. You're looking for little patterns of play and little partnerships to develop between players, little moves. What Bournemouth are doing, little triangles, little passes, that wasn't happening, right? We a number of times one of our players would be on the ball and is Wilshere or Noble, and they're expecting a run down this side, or a little diagonal.
Would you put any of this down to confidence?
Well, yeah, confidence breeds success breeds confidence. But the thing is, to play with confidence, you need to know what your teammate's going to do, right? You need to, you can't just. If you're going to play a ball down the channel and no one runs into it, the next time you're going to be reluctant to play the ball into the channel. Yeah. So
we've got a horrific lineup of fixtures, Gonzo, right, coming up, and this is always seen as the 3-pointer amongst a load of fixtures we could be expected not to win. Are we in early season deep doo-doo land?
Well, yes, because we are. Because today, because of the Liverpool result, became far more important than it should have been. A home fixture against Bournemouth shouldn't be that important. It should just be, hopefully a win. If you get a draw, it's not a problem. But actually, it is a problem now. Because if we go to the Emirates, and I don't know what's happened today. I've not even looked at my phone. I don't know. As I understand, because of the fantasy football, someone has taunted me. JP Hammer has taunted me by saying Trippier has scored at Tottenham, and I've just taken him out of my fantasy football team. I think you taunted me by saying Richarlison scored. So everyone's taunting me because of fantasy league football, but I don't really know the results. Whatever happens, Unai Emery is going to be looking for a result, and he is going to be targeting West Ham as an easy 3 points, in the same way that we today would have been targeting today as our 3 points. Liverpool, everyone said, let's be reasonable about Liverpool. Let's be reasonable about it. No one beats Liverpool. Liverpool, one of the top 5 teams in Europe. That's what I said. We're going to have to shuffle again, fellas. We're going to have to shuffle. No, listen, Tone, you got a problem. You will never be on. You will never be on Strictly Come Dancing. You shuffle the wrong way.
Arms around me.
All right, well, stop groping each other. All right. Right. Anyway, listen. If we accept that we were never going to get anything from Liverpool, we have to at least say Liverpool, one of the top teams in Europe. Bournemouth aren't. We would have hoped for something better from today. Now, I wouldn't have minded if we'd have lost today, because I predicted a 2-2 draw. I wouldn't have minded if we'd have lost today, but we'd have shown a bit of promise and shown some attacking. I don't think we did. I would be very, very interested to see on the comments what people deciphered as the positives from today, aside from Yarmolenko. I don't think there were any.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I think the point is that it wasn't so much. What was more significant today wasn't so much not getting any points. It was the fact that we lost. There is a difference. So from what I mean is, if we'd have drawn today, it's not so much the point that's that big a deal. It's actually the fact we lost, and we've lost twice in a row. So it sets a negative mindset, a sort of precedence of negativity, and you can sort of feel it. Everyone's having a beer, enjoying themselves, but you talk to anyone here. I mean, losing the first 2 games is never nice. It puts you on the back foot mentally, right? More than it does on a points perspective. You see what I mean? And I think, and like as Gonzo said.
Puts you negative in the points as well. If you
well, no, it does. It does. Yeah, it does. But the point is that it's losing the first 2 games is kind of worse than it is. Losing the first 2 games is worse than not having the points. If you know what I mean? Because it's like, the first 2 games of the season you can catch it up mathematically, but it's a psychological damage basically from losing the first 2 games. I think
Okay, fair enough. So psychological damage as opposed to points is what you're saying. Yeah. I'm going to start wrapping it up here. It's finished 2-1 to Bournemouth. We've lost 2 in a row. I think everyone here is bitterly disappointed with the performance today. Normally at this point we ask man of the match and blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to do that because it would be pointless. What do you think, I'm going to ask you though, what do you think needs to happen before we play our next game at Arsenal, mate?
Big improvements. I want to see this philosophy. In answer to your question, I probably would have given it to Balbuena. Without Balbuena, it would have been worse today. Let's get that absolutely right. As I said, Fabianski had, in the first half at least, 3 punches out that were significant punches and clearances. Albona had a very, very good block. Balbuena had 3 or 4 interceptions. It could have been worse today. I don't think you can flip that and create, which I've just said, 4 or 5 chances for West Ham where we should have scored or could have scored. Okay, I want to see this philosophy. Okay, because this is not something. We're not going to get a Burnley here. We're not going to get people protesting against the board. The board have provided the funds here. Okay. This is now down to the manager to produce his stamp on the team. And no one's being sensationalistic, no one's calling for the manager's head, but I want to see, you mentioned your word was glimmer earlier, I want to see a glimmer of what the manager's tactics are going to be, of how we're going to attack. We've bought in to attacking football, that's great. At the moment it looks like a David Moyes team.
Wow, harsh words. Looks like a David Moyes team, mate. We in pre-season, before the summer window started, I did a number of shows, Hammers Chat, and I think everyone was agreed that we needed to improve in midfield massively and bring players in to do that. We haven't. Do you think that's been a major reason why we're in the position we're in now?
Well, I know...
Do you think that's a reason to throw beer on yourself like you just done?
Yeah, Gonzo's had a twitch moment there, I think.
I think it's the use of the word glimmer in a post-match review.
So no. What it was, he knew I was about to talk about Noble and Wilshere.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
It actually was, because I was so keen to have my say on it. No, let's hope.
Go on.
No,
all right, okay. I won't piss on his fireworks, but no, basically. I like both of them. I really do. I've always been a pro Noble person, but the 2 of them in the midfield, they look very similar in style. They can pick a pass. We know that. They do offer you a bit of composure in the middle, but they don't offer you. He said it after the first game, mobility, and we were lacking that in the midfield. We're lacking mobility, snappiness. I mean, they were taking a piss second half. Snappiness. There were phases when they were cheering every pass. They had 25 passes, like one after another. No one was closing them down.
So you think we lack a real sort of tackling presence in the middle of the park? Is that what you mean by snappiness?
Snappiness, as in, get
as
stuck
in, as in, he did a foot to not taking pictures.
And what I mean is, when I say a tackle, I mean a pacey, well-timed tackle, not a clumsy tackle, which is unfortunately what Noble tends to get caught out on frequently.
Yeah, he got booked, didn't he? And then stayed on the pitch for 30 minutes. After he got booked, in that time he seemed terrified to make a challenge, I noticed. He was, which surprised me. Do you know what I mean? He was just like that. He was still on the pitch, still wandering around, trying to tackle anyone. Anyway, I think that's going to be about it for this game. I think what?
I'm not so minded about Noble and Wilshere.
Over his shirt, give him a chance.
He's throwing beer on himself.
I soaked myself in anticipation.
I was just wanting a beer.
Okay. You drink your beer. I'll so pubic hair on the microphone. Anyway, listen.
I did something terrible with this earlier.
As from a previous video, but I'm going to put it out there now. Can they play in the same midfield? Can Noble and Wilshere play in the same midfield? Is it too similar? Is it too samey? I'm going to say now, if you're going to play 3 in the midfield, and we didn't at the start, we went for 2 up front, but if you're going to play 3 in the midfield, we need a stopper, we need a passer, and I would say that is either Noble or Wilshere, and then we need an attacking guy. And I think that may well be Felipe Anderson brought inside. He is wasted. He is so far wide, he's almost in a dugout. It's absolutely ridiculous.
But you've been slagging off the fact his one trick is to kick the ball past someone and run after it. Do you really want him through the middle like that?
Listen, he's our record signing. There's no point. We can't ask him to go out. Ain't no mistake about it. Pellegrini is not going to leave. This guy, if you wanted to get rid of him, is going to cost a £30 million payoff. We are not going to get rid of him. We have Pellegrini. We better learn to live with each other. We better learn to love each other. And with that in mind, we need to try and make Pellegrini's system work as best it can. And I just think it needs a number 10 in there. And if it needs a number 10, then, and if Anderson is our top player and our record signing, and he played that role for Lazio as well, let's get him in there. Let's see what he can do with it. Let's see what his long-range shot. Crikey, we miss Lanzini. Do we ever miss Lanzini?
I mean, I do think that we have to remember we are missing our best player for the last couple of seasons. Well, second best player last season probably after Arnautovic. But I mean, yeah, we are. He would be the man in there. And well, God, are we missing him? And didn't Argentina, because they were rubbish without him. But I mean, okay, so let's just get final comments, mate. What do you think needs to happen for the next game?
I'd like Yarmolenko to start myself. I don't know if he's still carrying a niggle. He had a slight niggle, didn't he, before the first game. I'd like Yarmolenko to start. As Gonzo said, I want to see a lot more from Felipe Anderson. I don't know if they can work with him on a training ground. And he looks almost a bit frightened to run at people. He
looked scared, didn't he?
He looked scared.
Who looked scared?
Felipe Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, he did it. He made a good, nice run right at the end. But you want to see him doing that all the time. That should be his party piece. Get the ball,
he seemed to jet back every time he got the ball, didn't he? He would jet back rather than, and right at the end of the game,
it looks like he's a little bit startled with the pace and physicality of the Premier League. It's almost like, oh, bloody hell, you know.
Yeah, he looks a bit frightened.
It does a little bit, yeah. So
fair enough. Fair enough. I think that does bring it to an end. Anything else? Any final comments from you, mate, Gonzo?
Not really, but thank you for reminding me who I am at the end there, because if you'd have just said final comments, I wouldn't have known. It's tricky. Arsenal next, Wolves up after that, I believe. It'd be very interesting to see when we're stood on this very boat, or one that looks remarkably similar in front of this very bridge with less and less West Ham fans on it. It'd be very interesting to see.
Or one that looks remarkably similar.
A remarkably similar bridge, not Tower Bridge, where we are. Let's see after Arsenal. No knee-jerk stuff. I'm just saying, we've sat in there, we've watched the game. And we've watched the game. That's how we call it. After Arsenal and after Wolves, let's see where we are. And then we can panic!
Don't panic, Captain Gary. That's it for our Talk Good Game match review. It's finished. West Ham 1, Bournemouth 2. And don't forget to subscribe and tell us what you thought of our performance. If you see a match a day, or if you're at the game, do leave comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the Hammers Chat channel. Come on, you Irons.